The show's called again. What's it called again?
A Musical Life.
Welcome to a musical life. Welcome to a musical life. Billy February, I'm happy to be down here at the recording room. Scott Watman with this fantastic podcast. That's it, the recording room. A musical life. So who's been your biggest one that's had the most hits?
Brian Mannix.
Brian Mannix, because he's a real frickin'...
Well, he's a star.
He's enigmatic, isn't it? Isn't that the
Enigmatic?
word? Yeah.
He's great. I really liked him.
He's
very black and white. I like that. He's not sitting on the fence about any subject.
He's straight up, isn't he?
Yeah.
He just tells it how it is.
Yeah. It's a good thing. I think more people should be like that.
You should just tell it how it is.
Tell it how it is, have an opinion about something, and be prepared to be wrong. I think a lot of people sit on the fence.
Yes,
because they have an opinion, but they're not confident enough to
within themselves to say it. They don't want to be black banned.
They don't want to upset anyone.
Don't want to upset anyone. You know, you got to stand up and say something. When the mob gets behind it, then things change. You know, so the mob is an odd bunch, aren't they?
The mob. The mob.
Are we recording right now?
We are.
Billy February. Thank you, Scott, for having me on the...
Well, hang on. Before we get too heavily into it,
all right.
we got to do this thing. So I've got to do a sync. So I've got to go like that. I'm going to let you do the same. So that camera can see you. So then I can sync the audio with the video.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
So when you speak, your lips make the right sounds at the right time.
Well, wait, one of those Chinese movies. Go,
yes, spaghetti western.
Oh, well, it's great to be down here for a musical life.
Well, hang on a second.
Sorry, you got to introduce me.
Yeah, let me do the introduction.
All right.
Welcome to the podcast, everyone. Today, my guest is Billy February. I always have trouble saying February. Billy February.
Billy February. Don't worry, you write a check for that name and the bank will cash it. Don't worry about that. And I'm open for checks, you know. So it's great to be down here for a musical life at the recording room, and thank you for having me, Scott. And thank you, Queensland. I love Wally Lewis. He was great. Yeah.
Billy, you started out life in Adelaide. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was born in a little town outside of Adelaide. A little country town. I can't think of it right now, but I will. Yeah, and then I grew up. My dad was a teacher and a surfer and an electronic whiz and everything like that, and ballroom dancer and ballroom teacher of dancing, him and my mum. And
wow.
All that. And they ran the state championships and all that stuff for ballroom dancing and put on gigs, shows. He had a big van with a PA in it, and he built PAs, and he was a ham radio operator. So I've been around microphones and electrical equipment my whole life.
Wow.
And he was, what was he? He had Everest Electronics, and he used to sell resistors from England called Arcol or something. These big resistors, all different, all around the world, and make crazy stuff. My dad helped me more than anyone, you know what I mean? Because he believed in me and stood by me, and he surfed. I was on the beach when I was this big, you know, 3 months old.
So in Adelaide, I can imagine the water would be fairly cold.
In winter time, it can get pretty cold.
So summer's not too bad?
Summer can be nice. Yeah, we've had some beautiful summers down there in the mid-coast. It's called the Magic Mid.
But what's the water temperature like?
Right now, it's a bit nippy.
I can't imagine going surfing down there without a wetsuit. Did you used to surf without a wetsuit?
Yeah, in summer and stuff. I remember staying out in the moonlight till 9 o'clock at night. It was warm and right in the middle. I lived right on the seafront, a place called Seaford Beach.
Okay.
And that's right next to McLaren Vale, where all the wine's from.
Okay. I mean, my memories of and looking at things online about surfing in Adelaide is there's a lot of great white sharks down in that neck of the woods.
Man, far out. It's not a day go. Every day it's in my mind. I've had. I was in one place surfing out in a bommy once, and I was paddling out, and to the right of me, it was massive. We were in 15, 16 foot, and it turned around. It was kind of come straight at me, and it was hungry. That was hungry. I don't even want to mention where that is, but I turned around on a bit of white water and zoomed out of it, and as I turned and I was on the white water, it saw that I was gone, and I watched it swing around and go straight for my mate that was behind me on the next wave, and I yelled out to him, and he was on the next wave behind me, and that one was hungry. They're like, great whites are like Labradors. They'll be, dogs.
Yeah.
They're like dogs. You can sense if they're hungry or aggro and everything. But there was one, I was sitting out at a place called Cactus Beach at Caves. Big right-hander, best right-hander in the world. But if you want to share it with the sharks. Anyway, I'm sitting out there. I was the only one out there, and I shouldn't have been out there. But as I went out on the ledge, the wind came up a little bit, and everyone came in. I went, oh, no, man, I'm standing there in my wetsuit. So I jumped off. I'm surfing for half an hour, and it was okay. And then I'm sitting there, and then there was a lull, completely flat, and I'm the only one in the whole bay. And then it just hit me, and it went zoom. And by that point, that was going around me and under me and stuff. And then you're too scared to be scared. I was too scared to be scared. So I just went, how the hell am I going to get out of this? So I just paddled firm. I was just firm, but I wasn't going
No panic.
No panic, just firm. And then I came in to come in. Then I looked behind me in a wave, and it was just there going, wah, 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 just staring down at me, Then I went out and played on the Rodney Fox Shark Expedition off of Port Lincoln in the Neptune Islands on the cage diving. You sleep out there. We're out there for 3 days. Mm-hmm. I'm playing to the tourists and that, and there's the boats moving. And anyway, it was a crack up, and I saw great whites for 3 days, every day, like all day long. And the biggest I had in front of me was like 15 feet or just that much under. And that was huge. It was like it was as big as my tour bus, my Toyota Hiace.
Were people getting in the water with the sharks?
No, we're in the water in a cage.
Okay.
It came round me and this American guy, and it come round, and we're just looking at each other, go, wow, this is on, it's happening. It was just huge. And it come round, and it come down, and I'm going, in my mind, I'm going, turn around. And then it turned around and come straight for me. I'm going, oh no, it's read my mind. And it's coming for me, and it was coming straight at me.
Oh wow.
And then it come right in front of the cage. It was right there. I could have touched it, I could have poked its eye. Its eye was like that. Big black eye, but in that big black eye there's a little blue ring and like a human eye right in there that you got to be really close to see. Little blue ring of the eye and stuff, and that was amazing. And that on the third day we went and dived with sea lions, and I'm saying, hey, to the guys, don't the sharks, this is their favourite food. Yeah, but we've had no problems here. And we're jumping off the boat, diving with the sea lions, and and all I could see into the abyss, I'm just imagining sharks coming out at me. But before I got off into the water, I said, I've got to take something. So I grabbed a fork and put it in my wetsuit, in my arm. I said, at least I got a fork.
You had to fight off a shark with a fork.
Well, that's all I had, and that was, and none of us wanted to come back into land. We all thought we were Jacques Cousteau, and we just wanted to keep touring. And I'm still friends with people from that trip now. We still talk here and there. Yeah.
I guess we should talk about some music.
Well, I was playing music on the boat. I tell you, it was a crack up. And
when did you first start playing music? What was the thing that got you into playing music?
I always loved guitar, and there was always a ukulele. My dad played ukulele, and there was always a piano in the house since I was little. It was my grandma's, so I was always bashing on that. And my sister got really good on that. She had lessons. She can read music. She's a very good singer and player of that. And my brother's very good on guitar and sings. He used to do lots of gigs, but he's chasing emeralds or gold or something way up somewhere in the country. I haven't got a clue. But anyway, always loved it. And I'd be the little kid with a microphone from my, an old microphone singing into it when I was really little, So and I got my first real guitar when I was 11. I got my first real fiberglass surfboard when I was 12. I was writing foamies since I was 4 or 5,
Yeah.
But the guitar I got was one of those big, thick nylon string things. Why I couldn't get my fingers around it, so it was. So I messed on that. But later on, I was surfing full on. I was a mad surfer in competitions and making surfboards But I always picked up guitars at everyone's houses, And I was one of those guys. And then later on, I got my really good acoustic guitar and that I could put my hand around, then drove everyone mad. And just started writing songs I had 2 chords and I'd write a song instantly. I was writing songs instantly. I drove everyone mad, and thank you for putting up with me.
You were saying earlier on, before we started, your first gig you ever did was here up on the Gold Coast. Mm-hmm. You're here for a surfing comp.
I was living up here.
Okay.
I came up here to the Gold Coast I came second in the country in the juniors for surfing, and I made the Aussie team. That was my second Aussie team, and I came up for the world titles, and I ended up getting in the final. I came 4th in the world at D-Bar.
D-Bar,
and it was huge, and I still remember it. Brian Rockford, the clothing guy, he was one of the big sponsors. He gave everyone in the Australian team a big bottle of bourbon each. You just got 4th in the world. It was okay to have a drink, and
good to celebrate.
Yeah. And the Irish team brought a pallet of Irish whiskey over to Australia and handed it to everyone.
Oh wow!
They got everyone drunk. I mean, hundreds of people drunk. Thank you, Irish people. They did. They were the nicest people, and they were really good people. And the French guys, they were just trying to smooth onto chicks every day, wearing scarves and I don't know. They couldn't surf that great, but they were fun, Yeah, that was a fantastic competition. And then I hooked up with Murray Burton, Pipe Dream Surfboards. I got invited and I went and worked there, and so I lived up here and then started in the bands and stuff with guy called Dave Bradbury, DB, fantastic bass player, and Jeff Milne, a drummer. Mm-hmm. And he lived at Razorback, and that's where our practice room was, at the top of Razorback
in
Coolangatta. And we had a little 3-piece band, just playing my songs and stuff. And we were tight. We were so pro because Dave and Jeff had been in lots of bands, and Jeff was very experienced. He used to, open up for In Excess and bands like that, and Hoodoo Gurus and things like that way back in the day. And it was called the Eastern Dark, his band, and but he was back up living on the Goldie because they had an accident and one of them passed on. It was a bit sad, but he's a trooper, Jeff Milne, great guy.
So are you playing original material or
yeah,
covers?
Yeah,
no,
original.
All original material?
Yeah, all original material. We might have had... there was one song, Born to Be Wild. We started playing that when we had Wally Watkins join the band. He was our lead guitarist.
Yeah.
And Wally was great. We were tight. We're a unit, man. Wally was fantastic. And
well, he's still going on these days. He's doing great things.
He helped so many people out, and I used to hang out with him and stuff during the weekdays and that, because he's just a hardcore muso. He was fun to hang out with and stuff, and yeah, he was good. Yeah, I started, that was the Surfboard Manufacturers Contest at Currumbin, the presentation, and I remember the first people to ever get up and dance to my music, it was Wayne Dean and his wife Colleen. Wayne Dean was the first person to hop up and dance. And he could see I was nervous. And when Deanie got up there, everyone just went, oh, they're freaking tops. And everyone else jumped up. So he was such a cool guy, Wayne Dean, yeah.
Where do things lead to from there? If you've got a band and you're playing original music, did you record any of the stuff?
Oh, just on cassette and stuff. We went up to a studio one day. We were going to do something, and it all got messed up. We were there with all the gear, and we didn't record, just in the practice rooms and things like that. And we did that for a while, and then we had another form of the band, and we had a guy called Brizzo on drums and Hoppy on lead guitar, and that went for a while, and that was good. We had some good things happening there, and then. And I wandered back to South Australia because that was the original scene for music, you see, all original down there, and just parties and everything. Everyone was original bands, and that's what I was into. So I did that, and that's where my parents were and everything like that. And then
you had a surf school in Adelaide. I thought there was a point where you were teaching people to surf.
No, I was just a special guest, where the big high schools come down, and they'd get me down as a special guest because I'm a surfing legend or something. And
so you'd come down and what would you do?
I'd go down and teach the kids to surf, handle a bunch of them, and it was.
So you were teaching people to surf?
Well, yeah, with clout, because I was a special guest. And the thing is, doing that, and I did that now and then, that was, it was terrifying because I'm looking after little Johnny and Susie, and they're floating out to sea, and I've got to paddle out and save them, or they're nose diving. It was so stressful because they're parents' children, and the responsibility of looking after these kids from the country that think the ocean's just a giant friendly swimming pool where there's sharks and all sorts of things out there. And when they get on the bus, I was just going, oh, thank you, everyone's well, no broken arms or anything like that. So it's quite a responsibility.
It is, yeah.
And it's too much for me looking after their little children. And I just did that a little bit. I was basically surfing, playing music, and going in the competitions. I was a mad competition guy.
The only reason I bring up the teaching thing is because you had a meeting with a bit of a star who sought you out to get some lessons.
Lessons for surfing?
For surfing.
A star? Who could that be? I don't know.
Oh, come on. How did you get the name Billy February?
Oh, you're talking about that.
About Chris Isaak.
Oh,
How did you meet Chris Isaak?
Oh, that's a story.
Yeah.
I was doing all my gigs, and I was a big hustler down in South Oz. They called me the master of self-promotion. I was always on the radio. There was always stories in the paper. I got real good at it, you know what I mean? And I was surfing, and he came into town, and his people rang my people, and he wanted to go surfing. And my people rang me up. I just left my caravan in my parents' property, and I'd locked the door, and there was a phone in the caravan, on the wall phone, and 3 more seconds and I wouldn't have got back, and I heard it ringing, so I walked back and opened up the padlock, and they're going, Billy, can you take Chris surfing? He wants to go surfing, and I said, I don't know, I've got to go to the mechanic. So I was taking my car to the mechanics. And then I said, all right, I will. They talked me into it. I was reluctant a little. I'm going, I've got to go to the mechanic. Anyway, I said, okay. I said, where is he? They said, pick him up at 9 o'clock at the Hilton Hotel. So I drove in there in my little Mazda 808, and there he was standing there in a pair of boardies, a T-shirt, sunnies, thongs, and a plastic bag with a wetsuit in it. And he said, Billy, how are you? And he jumped in my little car, and I said, Chris, shouldn't we be taking one of your fancy Taragos? He says, no, I don't want to be in that. I don't want anything to do that. I just want to be cruising, low key, and this is perfect. I love it. I said, okay, jump in. And we took off back to my house and to get the boards because it was on the way. And he sat in my caravan playing guitar and hanging out and all that. Met my brother and everything. And then we loaded up the boards and we headed to Victor Harbour. And we're down there at a place called Day Street. And we're surfing together, and he can surf. He's quite capable and gets in. He loves it. He was loving it, And we're down there, and I left him out there by himself. I came in. He said, I'll stay out for a while, and he's the only one on the whole beach. No one anywhere. And I'm in there going, oh, no, I hope nothing happens to him, because he's got a sell-out show at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre that night. It's like 14,000 people or something. And I'm going, if he gets eaten, man, I'm in trouble. Anyway, the reporters were driving around looking for us because they thought, they'd heard we'd gone surfing, and then a guy come up to us and said, which one of you is Chris Isaak? And he was, and he said, yeah, I'm Chris. Oh, yeah, the American accent gave you away, buddy, yeah. And he said, can I get a picture with you, and do a little interview? And he says, only if my friend, Australian singer-songwriter Billy February's in the picture with me. And then the photo man said, get in the picture, Billy, get in the picture, and but before that, we're driving down to Victor Harbour, and I had a surname. It was my sporting name, Segenary, and Chris is going, Billy, we gotta, zoom up that name, Segenary, February, Billy February. And I said, yeah, and he said, yes, and it just went boom and stuck to me like glue, and that was it. And then the big story in the paper that next day in the Advertiser, the biggest thing in South Oz, and from then I was Billy February ever since. Wow. And it's never changed, and every time I see him, it's like he gave birth to me, him and Kenny. It was a classic.
What year was that?
Oh, I was back in the 90s, 96.
96.
And and I've known him ever since. And he was like my big brother, and he told me so much stuff. It's like, it was crazy. And then a few weeks later, I was opening up for Mark Seymour.
Oh, wow.
And his brother Nick from Crowded House, and I was just on my way. Yeah, and it was like, but I always pray a lot, and good things came to me, you know what I mean? But Chris was a very nice man, and driving down, I always remember he said to me, I'm sitting in the car driving, and he's going, Billy, you coming to the concert tonight? And I said, I don't know, Chris, I haven't got a ticket, mate, or anything. He's gone, don't worry, I know someone. So he ended up, he gave me this VIP pass at the entertainment centre. I could go anywhere and do anything. And I remember a big bouncer came over me. I'm watching sound check. When we came back, this is funny. We went to the Hilton Hotel, a massive pack of women screaming, carrying on like crazy for Chris. And I'm with him, you know, and we're just walking through all these chicks, and they're all handing him cards and bits of paper with phone numbers on it and little things written there. And I saw those things, and they were very friendly. And it went up there. I had a shower up in his suite. He said, "Come and have a shower, Billy." You know, he had this huge apartment, you know, top of the range, and spare bathrooms. You know, what do you want to eat? You know, just buffed me out, gave a shower, got changed, and went off to the sound check. And I'm watching the sound check, and this bouncer comes over to me trying to push his weight around. He's going, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" "I'm just watching my friend Chris, you know." "Oh, yeah," and started hassling me a little bit. "Yeah," I said, "Chris, the guy on stage there." And he went, "Oops," and ran away. You know, no, he was very nice to me. Great guy, helped me out. Every time I see him, he's very chatty and loves to. You know, he always tells me I'm looking great, and I am. I'm ageless. You know, ageless, mate. No, all that crew. I've met a lot of people in the music industry, and the biggest people, and they're my biggest supporters. All those big name people, and they're really supportive of me, and I thank them all for that. Thank you. I want to thank Taj Mahal and his gang out there for always looking after me when they come to Australia. Very nice people.
You've played in a lot of different places, from between Adelaide. You've been, I would imagine, toured through Melbourne, Sydney, up and down the coast.
I used to base out of Yamba, and I played up and down the coast there for 5 years, and I've played everywhere. Yeah. I've played from up here at the Gold Coast all the way down to Tasmania and to Western Australia.
And you do a lot of festival stuff. You were saying that a couple of weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, you played at the Mullum.
Yeah, the Mullum Roots Festival down at Mullum. And
it was quite packed. You had a good time?
It was fantastic. It was just epic. It was one of those weekends. It was beautiful weather. And people were just in the mood, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just happening. And I had 2 great gigs there, and caught up with a lot of fantastic people. And it was great accommodation, just in one of the caravan parks in my tour bus. But they were so nice, and the facilities were great. Everything about that festival was just 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
It really was.
Of all of the things that you've done, and I know there's been quite a lot of them, what are some of the highlights that you would say were moments that changed your life? I mean, obviously the Chris Isaak one was one.
That was sent to be my god or something. I tell you, that was something else. That one, to have him sitting in my caravan, you know, hanging out, chilling, and helped me out so much. He came at the right time, right there, on the second he turned up at my house, you know.
What other highlights have there been?
Oh, look, I've opened up for Renée Geyer, sell-out gig with her, myself, Richard Tonkin on fiddle. She came out and raved to the crowd. She doesn't talk to the warm-up acts normally, but she come out raving about me, saying I had the best voice for my age and how good I was to this big crowd. And it was incredible. I pinched myself all year over that one. It was so good.
She made a big impression?
Oh, she's like the best female singer in Australia. She was the bomb, you know what I mean? She was, and now she's up there in heaven somewhere, singing away. And yeah, she was great. Look, I've had Chris Finnen took me under his wing there, blues act in South Australia. He used to do a lot of gigs with Chris Finnen. I met Chris in '99, and he said, "Give me a ring next week, we'll catch up." And I said, yeah. And then I broke my leg surfing.
Oh. How do you break your leg surfing?
I did a backhand re-entry in a competition. It was the state titles at Waipinga in South Australia, and I came down and this backwash was coming back. It hit my board and then my leg just twisted and did a big spiral break on my fibula. And I just sprained my ankle. That was worse than the broken leg. Anyway, I came in, I'm on the beach, I'm waving at everyone and they're just waving back at me. And I'm going, help, help. And they go, yeah, we see you. Oh. And anyway, they come down and got me and carried me up and everyone's looking at my leg and they go, looks all right to me, you'll be right, mate. And I said, I'll have a Panadol. And I leaned into my car and I dropped a Panadol and then it hit me and I went into shock. Oh, wow. Then I was just gone. I was laying on the ground under a space blanket and then I had to be taken to hospital and they x-rayed me and they said, yeah, mate, you got a broken leg. I said, oh, great. And they put a giant cast on my leg up to my groin here. It was, oh, wow. It was terrible. And every 3 days they had to take it off because of the swelling. Oh. And put a new one on. And after 2 weeks, they just wrapped it in big bandages and I just couldn't move it, you know. So I had to...
How long was that for? Was that like a 6 weeks, 8 weeks?
I laid in a bed in my parents' house for 6 weeks and getting up to the bathroom was agony because every time I got up, the blood rushed down my leg and it was just absolute agony. But the great thing, I tell you this, when I got dropped off that night, my friend Roger Matthews dropped me at my parents' house. I went in there and I'm in the spare room on the property there. All the dogs came in and jumped on the bed and laid on my bed all night with me because the dogs knew I was injured. And they never do that. But when I had the broken leg, they all come on the bed and cuddled up to me and said, don't worry, Billy, we got your back, buddy. And they come in and check on me every day. I wow. Never forget that. And I laid there for 6 weeks. But you know, the good thing was I lost 6 kilos because I couldn't get to the fridge. And so I lost weight. And that was good. And I surfed 13 weeks later. I was out for 13 weeks and then I'd surf a little bit and then I have to have weeks off because of my sprained ankle. That was worse than the broken leg. Oh, wow. So it took a good year really to be really on top of that one. Got back and then what happened is 9 months later I rang Chris. I said, Chris, Finnen, you know, it's Billy. Oh, you took a while to ring me. And then we've been friends and gigged ever since. And he was great. He was probably one of Adelaide's hottest guitar players and renowned right round all around Australia. And Jeff Lang just thinks he's the guru, mate. Chris Finnen, you know. And Jeff Lang is a guru. I call him the maestro. And he's one of the nicest guys. Him and his band. And they are the nicest people to me. Jeff Lang, yay, you know. But yeah, I met a lot of people out there, and you know, I remember being at Blues Fest, and I'm sitting there in the restaurant, and Barnsley's right there, and sitting right next to me, basically rubbing shoulders, and he loved it. I'm from South Oz, and he's from South Oz. We had a big chat, and all those guys were real nice to me, you know, really good, yeah.
Along the way, most people in life have moments that don't go well for them. I guess breaking your leg would be one of those moments. Is there any other point in time? Has there been a point in time where you thought, I'm going to have to give music away, it's all too hard?
Everyone has ups and downs, and you just learn from those downers, you know what I mean? I've had gigs that are just pumping and it's going off, you know what I mean? Then I've rocked up to a gig and there's not that many people there, but you just give it 100%. I go, wow. And then the week after, it's happening again. But the biggest names have that. Tim Rogers rock up to Adelaide, 60 people came to see him. you know, because it wasn't promoted properly and things weren't happening. Next time he came back, you know, had 1,500 people.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about promoting and the weather. Weather makes a big deal. If it's raining and miserable, people, I'm going to watch Netflix now. I'm not going to watch a DVD. It's all Netflix now, isn't it? So, not really. It just makes me more determined, actually. That's with it. It goes with anything. Racing car drivers will have a great race, but one day they'll hit the fence and they'll be out the race. You know what I mean? No, you just take the good with the bad and rock on. No, if I'm not winning, I'm learning. You know, so really, I don't have any bad days. You know, even if I have a crap day, I've learnt something, and I just rock on. I'm a pit bull. You know, I was a competition surfer, and I learned a lot from that. Lot of competitions, and you know, made 4 Australian teams and lots of stuff. You know, and I never really talk about that. Most people in the music industry wouldn't even know that I surf. Yeah. So I never speak about it. Mm-hmm. I played at this gig down in the Central Coast in New South Wales at this restaurant, and it's burnt down now. I played there for years, over 10 years odd, and the owner was a full-on surfer and in a surf club and everything. I never mentioned it once. He come up to me 3 years later, said, "Billy, I just heard you were this big champion. What? You never told me." And I never said anything. And then he said to me, "Man, I just love you even more now," because I never said anything. And I just don't say that much about it. Sporting career, and then there's a musical career. But you learn a lot from sport and everything there to take on to your musical career. And look, and if I had $1 for every poster I've put up, I could go out and buy a brand new Mercedes Sprinter tomorrow, I tell you. You know, I worked hard, you know, and radio interviews, I played on the TV, you know, all that stuff. I'd organised that. I had my own radio program for 2.5 years called the Island Surf Pipeline.
The Island Surf
Pipeline.
Oh,
yeah, I thought the government was going to come and get me because I talked more. I'd slam everyone, man. I talked about surfing, music, and anything else I felt like. So if you pissed me off or you're a bad politician, you're going to get on my radar. And I was going to give
So you talked about politics? Because they say it's one of those things, it's the politics, religion.
Oh, yeah. What was it?
All those divisive subjects.
What was my thing? It's a big good morning out there to all you surf chicks, surf dudes, and all our regular listeners. This is the legend up here at 88.5 Coast FM. You're tuned into the Island Surf Pipeline. Today the mid-coast is 2 foot. Victor Harbour's about 2 or 3 foot. It's northwesterly. This is Blue Experience. You're with the legend here. It's 3 minutes past 8. Yeah. You know, so the secret was never to go, you know, and just talk and stuff. And it was very popular. I never missed.
When you first started, was there a lot of umming and ahhing?
No.
Did you have to? How did you get to the point where you didn't do that?
Practice. I'd work on my show all week. I'd be playing guitar, doing some surfboard stuff, but working on my show. I worked on it. My dad did radio as well, so I learnt from him. Yeah, I did then, yeah. So I just worked on it, and I had more gifts and free prizes. They were throwing stuff at me. Sponsorship, it was a huge thing, yeah. I had Tracks magazine behind it, and I had the Queensland Report with Bruce Lee, the Victorian Report with Neil Luke, the Western Australian Report with Mole Man. I had Monty Webber from Sydney. I had a guy in Hawaii. I would do phone interviews from my music room with an old tape deck. And I'd be up at 1 o'clock in the morning pretending it's 8 a.m. talking to someone in Hawaii, and it's recording on a cassette.
Wow.
And then we'd put it on at the station and no one could tell the difference. Sorry. But I'd do stuff like that. It was very popular, and in the end I had to let it go because it upset all my gigs and stuff, because of the commitment. So I had to let that one go, and no one could fill my shoes. It was just too, they couldn't do it. And so the show folded in the end because no one could cut it.
With your songwriting, what's your favourite song that you've written? Is it always the last one? Or do you have one that you thought that song is just the best song I've ever written? I'll never be able to beat that.
Oh, I always beat it. Oh no, the last one's always something. I've been writing continually for 30 years, so I've written a lot of songs. I've written so many songs, I only remember 20% of them, if that. I've got books and I look at them, and I've got tapes and things. I've got songs on CDs, and I go, wow, I don't even remember that. I've got to relearn them to play them.
What's your favourite one to play at the moment?
The last one I wrote. I don't tell it. When I write a song, I just put it out there.
We should have a listen to it.
Oh, we should have a listen. I'll just sip on this drink that Scott gave me. I remember when all that COVID stuff was going, and I was on the internet looking at people, and there's a guy ripping the crap out of it. And I'm going, who is that man? And it was you, Scott Watman. And I walked up in Twin Towns, and I said, are you that guy that was on the internet during the COVID thing called Scott? And he said, yes, I'm Scott Watman. Like, wow. And that ended up being you, and that's how I met you.
Yeah.
Because I saw you on the internet, and I'm going, who's this hidden treasure of a guitar player?
You're too kind.
No. I've enjoyed many of your shows. You really. I don't look at the world like it used to be. Can't see the sunset the same. I don't believe this is happening. Feels like the whole world's gone insane. They say this, they say that, I don't know what to think. Could this be the end of mankind? Or the start of a beautiful dream? We'll find out, given time. Take it or leave it, oh, I don't know. Take it or leave it today. Take it or leave it, I just don't care to say. Looks like the whole world's lost its way. Looks like the whole world's lost its way. Politicians, well, they ain't politicians anymore. Just people feathering their own nest. The folks on the streets and in their homes, they just try to do their best. You can take it or leave it, oh, I don't know. Take it or leave it today. Take it or leave it, I just don't care to say. Looks like the world's lost its way. Looks like the world's lost its way. only just wrote that one just before the Mullum Roots Festival. I played it straight up at the. I didn't tell anyone it was a new song. I'm still new and I'm still working on it. Yeah, but it went down pretty well. I love a great PA system and beautiful foldback that I can lean into it, you know, that holds me up. That's how strong I like it.
You like the 12-string? You were telling me there's a bit of a story behind that particular 12-string.
Yeah, there is. I was opening up for Mark Seymour and his brother Nick Seymour from Crowded House, and it was a huge sellout gigs. It's like 800 people or something silly, and I'm doing my sound check, and they're revving me up, you know, building me. They're stirring me up, and they're very nice guys, those ones. And then Mark yells out, "Hey Billy, you're looking for a new 12-string?" Because I had this Ibanez one, and that was a really good one, and I loved that because Chris Isaak had played that, and you know, it had a bit of Chris in it, you know. And I said, "Yeah, I'm looking for a Maton 425 cutaway." And he said, "That's exactly what I've got. Yeah, I'm selling one. Do you want to buy it?" And I said, "Yes." And he sold it to me. It was like brand new, and he'd only played it twice live, he said, and the neck was too wide for him. He likes the 808s and the Matons, and he put it on a plane and sent it over for me. I was just stoked, yeah. And I've got another one of these as well, but this is my main one. So yeah, I love it, and it's been fixed and worked on, new frets. It's gone through it's had a lot. I've played this a lot, yeah.
There's something special about a 12-string. It's like it's not, you don't see a lot of people playing them.
A 12-string to me, a 6-string's like a single fin, and a 12-string's like a thruster in a surfboard. And the thruster is 3 fins, so it's got more oomph in it, you know, so I like it. I still have a 6-string that I write on all the time, a little 6-string I write on. I have got a Gibson... what is it? It's not a J200, it's a J100.
Okay.
And I like playing that as well, but I always play the 12s live, you know. Sometimes I get into a little, and I go to the store and just buy a guitar. I don't know why.
You were saying that when you were younger you had a Telecaster and a Jaguar?
No, it was a Mustang.
A Mustang?
Yeah, it was
And
great.
you sold them?
I sold them.
Do you have any electric guitars in your arsenal at the moment?
I do have a Strat Squire I bought off a guy up in Currumbin. And the neck was a little bit twisted. I've had it fixed up, but no, I've had that, and I had a lot of fun on that last year when I was staying on a yacht in Tweed, and I've got this other thing I bought for $10 off the big set maker from up there in Surfers, you know, that makes all the movies and everything like that. Mm-hmm. He's the big set maker. And he was selling everything in his house, and he sold me this guitar for $10. And it's a ripper, and I had it fixed up. And I've got that as well. I just had to have it. I saw it on Marketplace. And I said, I must have this. So I drove up, and it was only $10. And but I met him, and he was the giant set maker in a movie world. So I met this huge honcho from that makes the Caribbean stuff of Johnny Depp, and works on all the films. So that must have been why I was driven there to get this guitar, to end up meeting him. Yeah, so the guitar's good. My $10. I just had to have this $10 guitar.
You've got this ukulele here, and you were saying as you were growing up, you liked playing ukulele and enjoyed it.
Yeah. I love the ukulele. This is a little...
Do you write songs on the ukulele as well?
Yeah, I do. And then I put them into the guitar, you know. But these are great. I do play that song, I was on fire, no one can save me but you. Strange what desire make foolish people do. I never dreamed that I'd meet somebody like you. I never dreamed that I'd lose somebody like you.
So that's obviously a Chris Isaak tune.
Yeah, Chris Isaak, yeah. I do that. Yeah, I do that on this one, and I walk around the crowds in certain venues and stuff doing that. And but once you start doing that, you got to go to every table, because if you don't, they go, "Why didn't he come to our table?" So I'll end up playing it twice and walk around everywhere. And I've had people hire me, and they say, "You've got to play the uke and go to all the tables and do all that, Billy. We love that when you do that." So
The personal touch.
Yeah, the personal touch. And I get out and entertain. You know, I read the crowd on the night. Some people look at something on the internet and they'll think that's what he does all the time. But it's not. Every gig's totally different for me. I'll read the crowd, I'll read the songs, and I'll do whatever it takes to entertain that bunch of people. If it's in the morning or whatever it is, I'll do it, you know. And so it's always different, you know. I'm really known as an entertainer. I'll give it 110% every time, you know. So you never do the same show twice, ever. Ever. It's always different, you know. And I love entertaining. I love everything about it. I love my guitars, my leads, my mics, all my doodads, and being organised, and my tour bus, and getting there, the driving, the setting up, the performance, dealing with everyone, the pack up, the drive back, and do it all again.
What do you see happening for yourself in the next, say, 5 years or so? How do you see music industry going? Do you see changes happening? Is it something that you're going to continue to do?
I've done it all my life, basically. No, 100%. Just in for a penny, in for a pound, you know.
More festivals?
More festivals. Yeah, I just love it, you know. I need a new disc, an album, and then get out, put it on the hook and tour, you know, and chase those bigger supports, which I've been working on. And I meet people, and it's not what you know, it's who you know a lot of the time as well. And they got to like you. If they like you, they know I'll cut it and I'll do a great job warming the room. But if they like me, they go, "Oh, I love hanging out with that guy. He cracks me up, man." Yeah, you get on board. You know what I mean? And so you just always be cool and nice with people, which I always am. I'm very professional. I don't take anything personally when it comes to the music and dealing with the business, because, you know, I know they're just trying to sell food and beer and tickets and whatever. And if I can fit in and make that show better and warm the room for the bigger acts, I'm in there, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to steal their show. I'm just warming it up, getting the seats warm for they can come on and just smash them, you know. And I take that seriously. I know some acts, they get a support gig, they're trying to blow off the main act and that, and they get a little bit smart and cocky, and those guys don't get invited back, you know. They're there to do a certain job, and you got to know your job. And if you're the headline act in your own little show, then you're that as well. So you don't get cocky like that. It's a business. It is a business. And there is, at the end of the day, it's bread and butter and money and people paying their houses off and putting their kids in school. And you got to do the right thing by the big bands and treat them right and know where you stand in the lineup, you know. And people that try and blow them off and get smart ass, it's not a long-term thing for them, you know. You got to be cool.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to be good manners, you know, good manners and respect. You know, these guys have done a lot more than I've done in the bigger acts, and you know, and they and I respect that, and they know what I've done, and they like me, you know, and I respect them, and they know that, and I get on.
I hope that the recording process for the next album goes well.
Yeah, look, I'm always working on it, and it'll happen when it happens. And I got so many songs, and just need that right spot. I tend to do little live recordings of CDs, shows, to keep everything on the road, you know, a live recording. And people love that live recordings.
I'll put links to all Billy's stuff down in the description below, so anybody who wants to go and check out Billy's original material.
Yeah, yeah.
And where he's playing and where you can go and see him play live.
Thank you, Scott. What can I say, mate? Yeah, I can say my website, I just looked at it last night, is not working. So don't go on next week. I don't know. And then I had this WordPress saying something's not right. And I'm going, oh, no, because I'm not that computer guy. I'd like to say to everyone out there watching the show, and I've seen so many of Scott's shows and the podcasts and the interviews, thanks for supporting the show. It's fantastic. And I think everyone you watch, you learn something from these shows, and all up-and-coming musicians and even veterans, whatever. You learn something from every podcast you do, Scott.
Everybody's got a different way of approaching the industry. Everybody's got a different way of approaching music and how they play it and entertain.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the great thing about it. There's no one way to go about doing it. It's one of the last. It's the wild frontier out there.
It is. It is. I'd personally like to thank the Governor High Marsh Hotel and the Tonkin family down there in South Oz. Is coming up down there. They up and coming songwriter. They let me go into the venue there for a few years odd for free. One year I saw 150 acts, and this is the best venue in the country. And they supported me, the Tonkin family and Richard Tonkin and Robert Dunstan of Rip It Up magazine, DB magazine that was down there, and B-Side, and Chris Finnen, Les Karski, Gwyn Ashton, you know, Alan Caswell, Laurie Minson, Shelley Minson, far out.
So you met a lot of people over the years.
The Cheryl Brown from Capital News down there in Tamworth, and all the people in Tamworth, those venues there, the Nundle Hotel, and just all the pubs in town that I've played. One gig I opened up for Chad Morgan at the Long Yard in Tamworth. It was packed. And I played, and it was really hot, and I had two fans there, because it's so hot. Mm-hmm. Then Chad comes up, oh, Billy, scratch your oak, and, borrow your two fans. It's pretty warm up here. And I said, no worries, Chad. And he said, oh, thank you, Billy. I even opened up for, Brooke McClymont and Adam Ecclesey at the Cessnock Hotel once as well. All sorts of people. I have done gigs with more people. I can't even remember them all, you know what I mean? Look, my friend Bill Rich, he was Jimi Hendrix's bass player. He says, pop on over to the States, Billy. Hang out. We'll go fishing for the trout and everything. I've met a lot of people and a lot of nice people out there. And I think there's a guy who helped me out a lot. I bought that Mustang and that CBS Telecaster off Cram, Mark Davis, down in Adelaide. He was a great guitar player, and he was always enthusiastic about my songs and helping me. And just the local media, the Messenger, the Advertiser newspaper, they did a double-page story on me in the Sunday Mar. It was a huge story. I got more than Trump. I tell you, it was huge, and it went right around the country. And I've had a lot of help from a lot of people, but I'm a person that helps people as well. I go out of my way to help people, and and give people contacts and numbers for gigs and things, the ins and outs.
You helped organise to do the podcast with Gwyn Ashton.
True. I got Gwyn up here. He's a good friend of mine.
Said he's travelling through.
Yeah.
You got to get him on while he's here.
Yeah, he is. He's that guy. I don't know where he pulls his energy from. I tell you, if he's not playing, he's writing. He's on the internet. He's
prolific.
He's non-stop, and then he sleeps, and then he gets up and starts again the next day. He just doesn't stop.
See, he's in Prague at the moment, but he's putting a new band together and a new blues album, and he's out on the road to tour it. And
yeah.
he'll be back in Australia at the end of the year.
Yeah, back in November or something.
Yeah.
He's doing a new album. It's called Gwyn Ashton. It's called Grease Bucket. There you go. It's a scoop.
It's a scoop.
No. He's an unbelievable guitar player. Respected by huge acts. Richard Faltus from Guns N' Roses played on one of his singles last year, and when they came to town last year, I was with him the night before at Port Pirie. I went up for the run there, and we come back and we had VIP tickets for Guns N' Roses, and then the next day we got invited to the hotel to hang out with Richard Faltus, and he was buying me chai lattes, and the hotel was this vibe. There was all these Gun N' Roses fans everywhere outside with albums, looking to get them signed. And that was really nice to. When I'm sitting there with Richard Faltus from Guns N' Roses and Gwyn Ashton, unbelievable guitar player, it rubs off slightly. I'm not in their league at all, but it helps me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're both huge collectors of guitars, so they're just going on about amps and guitars, and I'll chip in with my acoustics. Very nice. I love the music industry, everything about it. Getting my T-shirts, all my promo done, all the merch and everything, and the people in the hotels and everything about music. I love it. I love touring, Scott. I love being on the road, and I've toured all over. I've driven more miles. And one quick touring story. I'm supporting Bex Marshall. She's from London. She's an unbelievable blues female. Mm-hmm. She's a killer player, Bex Marshall. Check her out. And we drove from Ballina. It was Sunday afternoon. I drove all night because her boyfriend couldn't drive, and there's 3 of us in my van, and she couldn't drive. I drove all night and I had a few Red Bulls, I don't mind saying, right? Drove all night, and I'm pretty used to that. And the next day, we all just collapsed, and there's saliva coming. We were just a mess. We had a 40-minute break, and it's on video, actually. There's all these things I filmed. It must look ugly, some of it, I tell you. But then we drove all the next day down to Melbourne, hopped. We made it within half an hour to get on the Tassie ferry to go to Tasmania. And then we were special guests on the boat. We played on the Spirit of Tasmania. And then we drove around Tassie for 2 weeks, and then back to South Oz. So that was a 5-week around the traps, and that was crazy. Yeah, good fun. I love doing that. And have I broken down on the highway and stuff? You betcha I have. 3 o'clock in the morning, tour bus on a tip tray. Oh man, I went off to Tamworth a couple of years ago, 2023. I got 40 seconds down the road and my alternator blew up. And it was the next day was Saturday, and I had rang around everywhere. And then a mate said, look, this guy does something from home. And I rang him and I said, look, I'm going to Tamworth, my alternator's stuff. And he said, it's like, we're the biggest country music fans ever, Billy. You get that new alternator around here, we're going to get you to Tamworth, mate. You get round here. And I went round there and he fixed my car and I was off. If it wasn't for Paul and his lovely wife giving cuppers, and he worked so hard to get my car going. And people like that, you know what I mean? My exhaust system, we're welding it up only 2 weeks ago up at the back of Tweed there. That was falling apart. I tell you, blown 2 head gaskets on the tip trays. I could go on about motor cars. Just have the best Toyota you can ever get.
They're reliable.
Yeah, I need a new one. I want a new super long wheelbase, diesel, manual, under 100,000 Ks, and I want that fiberglass roof on top so I can stand
We
up
need to
in
get
the
you a
back.
sponsorship.
Yeah, Toyota, please. I'll jump in the air for you, no worries. But, flying on aeroplanes, that's fun, but I'm scared of heights, and I look there out the window and go, whoa, whoa. Every time I do it, I remember flying to America once, and I don't really drink alcohol or anything, and I had 2 vodkas, those little bottles. I'm 45,000 feet. I'm in a thunderstorm, heading across to Las Vegas. I'm gonna drink them, and the plane was shaking, and I'm going, ah. Man, we've had a good time here on your show today. It's been great.
We've had a couple of songs.
Oh,
had a bit of a chat.
Played a song. Yeah,
Must be time for a coffee.
Yes, time for a coffee. I want to say to everyone again, please support the show. Scott, you've done a wonderful job with this podcast, and I know you put it all together, and it's quite complex to do it all. So,
it's not too bad.
But brain surgeons say, yeah, I know when you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing, mate. You're a smart guy.
It's not rocket science.
No, not.
I get it right sometimes.
Yeah, you get it right sometimes. Look, it looks like we're in NASA here right now. But thanks for having me on the show.
No, thanks for making the time, Billy.
Oh, pleasure.
Thank you for watching the show. I'll see you on the next one. And check out below where Billy's playing. Go along and see him play.
Yeah, positive
It's a bit of an interesting experience.
Positive vibes.
A great experience, actually.
Yes. Thank you very much, crew. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Right. That's us. We're done.
That's okay?
Yeah.
Should I have played more? Is it recording?
Yeah.
Here thinking of nothing, thinking of you. Here thinking of nothing, thinking of you. Why cry while thinking of you. Standing in the middle of the road, cars coming at my toes. Everything's black and white. I look forward to tonight. I'll cry while thinking of you. I'll cry while thinking of you. I don't see the sunshine coming through. All I see is me and you. Here I am thinking of nothing, thinking of you. Here I am thinking of nothing, thinking of you. I'll cry while thinking of you. I'll cry while thinking of you.